And our challenger in the blue corner, he hails from Warrington, fighting out the Supremacy MMA. There's a ring with 4 wins and 2 losses. He weighed in yesterday at 60.8 kilograms. Your challenger, Damien! And across the cage in the red corner to my left, he's the Ice FC Bantamweight Champion, hailing from Wrexham, and representing the Spire Performance Centre. He has a record of 6 wins and only 1 loss, weighs 61.1 kilograms. Our champion, James Firth! The referee is the back on there, and this fight will go over to 5 3-minute rounds.
We move on here with our second title fight tonight at Ice 10. This for the Bantamweight belt. Out of the red corner, James Cox, the defending champion, held that piece since Ice 8, taking on Damien Firth with a ton of support here tonight for the Thai boxer, who winds up on his back. Dean, Cox in top control, full guard for Firth.
Cox has done a great job on his homework, knowing the fighter he faces, and takes the fight straight to the mat. Extended his arm a little bit there. Firth working that rubber guard, I believe.
Looking for mission control is Firth. He secured it very nicely. Wrist to ankle being very key in that position. The left elbow firmly planted to the clavicle, and that will avoid some of the punishing shots of James Cox in this position.
Cox peppering some shots to the body there, looking to pull out of this rubber guard. If he can just reach up and pop the leg off his head. He seems to be postured up quite well there. Nice.
And what Cox would like to do is secure a pass and stuff that knee. He's done so now into half guard, maintaining very good pressure here, Dean, sliding that left leg to crab ride the arm of his opponent, but Firth recovers full guard. Well done for Firth. The challenger on his back, controlling with a left overhook.
Cox technical in all areas and showing it here thus far.
And the champ known for mixing things up and dotting all the I's and crossing the T's and controlling Firth very nicely against the cage here.
Did a great job of nullifying the hips of his opponent there in Firth. Firth able to get to his feet.
And this was key. This was definitely an important part of the strategy, was to keep Firth guessing, keep Firth busy, but you don't want to take knees like that.
Straight to the back there, took a massive knee, shot him for the double, and right round to the back.
And Jamie Cox says, not so fast. This is my house when I'm connected, and sticking like glue. Grappling very effectively here, but Firth locking up with that figure 4. Not sure how tight that looks, Dean, but he's definitely fighting for it.
Very difficult to finish this Kimura here. He needs to be kicking his opponent in Cox behind him, but thus far the cage is in the way, Chris. So he really needs to push his opponent into the center of the ring to use that move. Working the underhook here. He gets taken down.
And Firth spreads his weight again to try to defend this, stuffing the head, smashing those hammer fists home.
The crowd is ecstatic with every punch thrown. Firth looking to hold on and shimmy his hips out there.
Less than 10 seconds to go on the clock. Firth with those sledgehammers, but Cox relentless. And we knew Cox had to slow him down. We knew Cox had to get hold and really begin to impose his will, which was certainly a key feature of that round, Dean, throughout.
Cox with some beautiful penetrating double legs, knowing his game, knowing the grappling. He needs to take this fight to the ground. Firth being the Muay Thai master, and also some great balance from his feet.
And there was definitely one massive knee landed on Cox from Firth. You'll notice the way he got up on his toes, Dean, and throttled that thing in, thrusting his hips forward. Those are the punishing shots you got to watch out from a guy like Damien Firth.
Cox immediately responded that with a double leg. He didn't want any more of the stand-up, took the fight to the ground.
We continue here. The action rolls on in this title contest. It's round 2 coming right up. And as the cage door closes, it's two men duking it out for the strap and ice tonight. Chris Hookster calling it live, my main man Dean Midhat in attendance. An ecstatic crowd here in Manchester, and it's Cox right back to his bread and butter.
Firth trying to show some feints there, but Cox having none of it, shooting in with that powerful double that he's been showing us thus far.
And some good pummeling going on here, and a punishing knee from Firth. Scrambling desperately to maintain a position, but getting underneath the hips very effectively as Jamie Cox, Dean.
Firth was doing a great job of pressuring his hips down on Cox's head. He needs to get his hips away from this downward position, Chris, and put the pressure on top.
And Cox controlling that ankle. May look for an ankle pick here. They'll go to a single, but again Firth looking for the Kimura. Cox defends. That's a great know-how, Dean. When you're in jeopardy, you gotta play defense and survival first.
Comes down, he's still fighting for this Kimura. He could change to the straight armbar here, Chris. Difficult to finish from that position when you're in somebody's guard. Looking back to his corner for advice.
Some solid fight IQ from the champ, though. Jamie Cox knew his arm was in danger of being isolated there and has gone to defensive mode. Let's see what he's got off his back.
Walking up for the armbar. Watch him to switch around and catch this armbar here. Oh, the arm is straight. That is very close.
Russian style. Cox unable to finish. Firth shrugs it off. Man.
Wow, Firth's absolute tenacious, crazy defense there. His arm was straight and he still pulled it out, managed to circle round to his left and escape that position. Brilliant.
Full guard now again for Cox. Maintaining a closed guard. Look for him to shift his hips and again circumnavigate around the head and look for the armbar, Dean. Doesn't get it. Firth pushes the elbow back beyond the fulcrum. A great escape for Firth now twice in a row.
Firth seeing those submissions as they come, quite rightly. Reacting to those. Watch him with the triangle here. Cox kicks up those legs like a donkey and bites down like a shark.
Incredible. Looking for that full figure four and soldier boying that thing home is the champ. And may look to then crank on an arm lock, doesn't find it. Again, driving forward. Damien Firth on the sprawl.
Absolute tenacious array of submissions from the back there from Cox as he singles up again.
Picture perfect defense from Firth, though. He's definitely well trained and well prepared for this fight. But you can't indulge yourself in the ground game of Cox. We've seen how dangerous he can be.
Firth here, pinning down Cox, looking to do some damage from the half guard. Again, he's got to be careful about sweeps. And Cox also retaining the half guard. The end of the round closes.
And I love Cox using that lockdown, trying to maybe play deep half there. A final strike from Firth, a much better round for Firth, and particularly in being able to avoid and escape in those dangerous positions from Cox.
Firth did a great job of putting his hips down, using his hips in the equation and seeing those submissions before they even get engaged. Just slipping it, like you said, pulling that elbow quite away from the flexure. Beautiful stuff.
It was those two armbar attempts that were very dangerous, particularly the belly down variation. That Russian style lock comes on oh so quick. But Firth definitely keeping this one at fever pitch tonight in Manchester. We continue. It's another round of title fighting coming right your way. And referee in charge here, wiping a little bit of that moisture from the corner of the CSW trained champ, James Cox. Shout out to Eric Paulson, one of the most dynamic grapplers in the world. Surely very pleased with those arm bars.
Big uppercut there from Firth. We saw that when he was warming up previously before the fight started. He's really looking to place that on the inside. Watch him come in, and he'll dip his head and throw that big punch.
And Firth, a force to be reckoned with, I was going to say. Now back on the feet in home territory. This is his office. This is where he makes his moolah, but eats a right round kick from Cox.
Cox doing a great job of faking the shot there, just dip down and come back with a leg kick of his own, now going high. Beautiful, showing a diverse set of skills is Cox, almost to hide that takedown that we know he's going to go for.
And Cox certainly looking to set something up again, but Firth smashes a couple strikes home, winds up against the edge of space, and it's Cox in for the shot.
Firth did a good job of sucking his hips out there. He's just got to put pressure on the head of Cox, drive that head away. Cox doing a great job of sucking Firth away from the cage and taking him down.
And Cox got to be wary of the power of Firth. Firth was looking to set traps there, certainly showing the uppercut, but got to avoid getting your back up against the fence, because this is what a guy like Cox will do to you.
Excellent head pressure from Cox.
Looking for mission control again is Firth. He's got to have wrist to ankle here, though. He's gripping a little bit too close to the soles of his feet. And he may look to set up a triangle off this. He could go to the meat hook if he wanted, but lets it go.
Firth up against the cage. Being pushed down by Cox, looking down to rain some shots.
It's excellent hip pressure displayed by the champ. Watch the up kick. Shrug off the legs, double underpass. It's full side control. Maybe going to work on that far side arm, Dean. He's looking to isolate that thing for sure.
Forcing his hips forward from the scarfold position. Looking to scoop the left arm there of Firth up. Firth gets half guard. Locking down Cox on the top. Sensing that he can't let Cox be maneuvering around him on the top. Locks him down, looking to stand up here, perhaps work a sweep.
And Firth now back to full guard. Dare I say now an open guard. And Cox just so busy. He's the type of fighter who puts pressure on you at all times. Almost overloads the system with constant maneuvers and movement, constant adjustments. This is kinetic chess at its finest, Dean.
He's known to keep his opponent guessing, and he has done so thus far, faking the shots to get the takedown, mixing up his punches, even kicks against the Thai boxer. And now he is in first guard, raining down punches, looking for the head and arm triangle there.
Firth, possible choke attempt here, but the bell ends that round. Man, the crowd literally pushing at the barriers here tonight in Manchester. The atmosphere electric, and the fight certainly not disappointing throughout that round, Dean. Incredible back and forth stuff.
Great takedowns by Cox, dominating the ground game. Firth showing he has skills on the floor off his back, but just needs to make sure he keeps that downward pressure to keep the fight standing.
We continue now, moving along in this title affair into the championship rounds. It's number 4 coming right your way. Two very well-trained men, two very experienced men, two men with roars and cheers behind them tonight. And let's see who can keep up the pace. It's Firth taking on the champ Cox for the bantamweight belt tonight at ICE.
Cox doing a great job of throwing them kicks. He's really aware of Firth's Muay Thai skills. Throws the kicks, almost baits Firth into a Muay Thai stand-up fight and shoots him for the takedown and gets it. Beautiful stuff.
It's almost like those kicks are throwaway, either to set up the takedown or force or almost invite Firth into a kickboxing exchange, and that can be the downfall as we're seeing here.
He's taken that invitation every time thus far and ended up on his back again as he works here in the half guard, using that lockdown feature. However, that just locks the person down onto you quite literally. He needs to open that up, try and retain guard, or use it to work a sweep. Can't be having Cox pinned down on him like this.
Yeah, Firth may look for a whip up here. That is a utilizable position from that lockdown, but deep half guard can be dire consequences if you don't protect your head.
Looking to escape to the back there is Firth, but Cox realizes and uses that underhook, pounding him from this open guard position here. Excellent head control by Cox, downward pressure there.
And Firth again, full guard recovery. He's done that a number of times thus far. But gonna be tough to get back up when you're pinned against the fence like this, Dean, particularly with your face. I'd look for the left hand to come in, especially when he pins it. Oh, very nice stuff. Firth thought about maybe looking for an omoplata there, but that's gonna be, again, very difficult to maneuver into space when your neck is up against the edge of space like that.
Cox did a great job there of pinning the right arm of Firth to alleviate any control. It looks like he could be in the armbar position here, Chris. Can't quite see from the angle. Cox pulls out.
An ambitious attempt from the challenger. A noble reply from the champ. And the bantamweight kingpin tonight in Ice definitely continuing to make this his fight, to employ the game plan that's seen Firth on his back in every single round, Dean.
Cox going body, head, body, head. Beautiful display of striking skills from the ground and pound. Half guard position. Firth really needs to think about trying to make a sweep here or use that cage to cage walk up and stand up, keep this fight where he wants it. Working the triangle here, perhaps going for the omoplata, but Cox is wise to that. Shrugs off the legs and uses it to pass.
And Cox knew he was able to do that with one arm in because his elbow was so deep beyond the hips of Firth. One arm in is danger territory, but you can get away with a move like that if you know it's not deep enough, Dean.
Cox very aware of the jiu-jitsu game as he mounts beautifully here on Firth. An excellent job. Drags him away from the cage there, gives him some space, and rains down shots on Firth. Firth bucking, looking for that escape, holding on to the end of the round there. Again, Cox coming in with the submission ability over Firth.
Well, it's been another round for Cox in a sense that he's been able to secure that control and disallow the kickboxing game of Firth. Is Firth in a position, Dean, where he maybe needs to consider finishing this fight in the fifth?
He really needs to keep it standing. Look for that massive shot, the big kicks he's got there. Gotta wonder whether this grappling onslaught has taken its toll on Firth. Firth being on the bottom and fighting in every which way but lose to get out of these positions where Cox is on top with just downward pressure.
And that's a difficult thing to continue to do for 4 rounds straight, Dean. Being in the fifth, does he need to extend the jab? Does he need to maneuver and stay in the middle of the ring? What would you recommend? What's his corner telling him right now?
He needs to cut angles, show that uppercut so Cox thinks twice about shooting in for that lovely double leg we've seen.
Well, it's the 5th and final round here in International Combat Elite. Chris Hoekstra live in Manchester. An uproarious crowd all around us. My partner is always Dean Midhat, and here we go.
Firth using some fakes again, eats a leg kick. Really needs to start thinking about the distance. Nice sprawl there by Firth.
Beautiful sprawl.
Put pressure on the head of Cox there and stand up. He can't afford to let Cox drag this leg away.
But the problem is Cox is so adept at turning the corner off that takedown, Dean.
Cox driving forward, eliminating the table leg, if you like, of Firth to push him off balance and suck him to the mat. Firth did a great job there of standing up.
Watch for the short choke here from Jamie Cox. James Cox, I guarantee it, could sneak that left arm underneath the chin of Firth. He'll defend the takedown first, though.
Firth really needs to start thinking about disengaging here. Jamie's got that head control of the left arm there, prying away Firth as the ref splits them up.
Firth with a huge 1-2. Smacks James Cox. Man, that was a nuclear missile of a right hand.
That's what we need to see Firth doing, keeping that distance and smashing those shots down the pipe. Cox felt that power and took his opponent straight back down to the mat.
And look at James Cox flay those hips. He continued to put downward pressure and control, controlling the 4 corners, if you will.
Looks like he might be going for that head and arm triangle. All he's got to do there is jump over.
And I love how he's got his head all the way underneath. That's the key finite detail, if you will, of this position.
Firth perhaps sensing that, holding onto his own foot there to stop Cox transitioning across, and Cox jumps to the back like a monkey on a tree.
Wow! The champ here controlling with a nice left underhook to maintain that position and not end up too high.
Firth needs to watch his arm there. You see his left arm stretch out. Cox could slip down and turn that into an armbar.
And what a wild position. Firth trying to shake him off. Cox controlling the leg. May look to swap this one up. He's got less than a minute though, Dean, on the clock here.
Really high, able to, wow, brilliant jiu-jitsu for MMA there. Pulling away at the legs of Firth. Got this body triangle in now. So be careful about Firth turning because he's lost the control of the hips. It's a tight lock. Being sweaty in these later rounds, Firth could explode and turn and end up in the guard of Cox.
And Cox has got this one the right way around. You do not want your foot on the floor. So he's got a lot of pressure there, a lot of torque. And that is an absolutely nasty position to be in, I'm telling you. Firth fights onwards. Cox searching for the choke. Less than 10 seconds to go in regulation time.
Firth here is able to turn into that guard. Cox throwing up the armbar, desperate for this submission at the end of the round, and the close to a crazy fight here in the Ice Fighting Championships.
While the defending champion raises his arms and believes he's done enough tonight in the International Combat Elite Fighting Championship, Damien Firth walks off, sits down in his corner. No doubt has really left everything in the ring tonight. No one can question that these two endeavored to the very end. So impressed with the level of performance and the ability to dig deep, irregardless tonight, Dean, from both of these guys.
Cox doing a victory lap here. Just a superior grappling on Firth. Firth did a great job of scramble, standing up when he needed to. But ultimately, Cox's downward pressure and beautiful technique come up trumps thus far in this fight.
And all credit to Firth. I mean, he landed that huge right hand in this round. That was arguably one of the most devastating strikes of the fight, but we'll go to the judges and we'll see how they have it. Coming up, the decision for the championship here in Ice.
Ladies and gentlemen, after 5 rounds of MMA action, we are unanimous decision. And your winner, and still Ice FC Bantamweight Champion, James Cox. Please put your hands together for our royal and great challenger, Damien Firth. That was a tough defence over 5 rounds. How did you feel going into it?
Not good going in. Felt refreshed going in, but that was a long fight.
Was that the first time you got 5 rounds?
Yeah, it was. Obviously done it in the gym plenty of times, but the pressure, the occasion built up.
You seem to have better fitness and you've just a slightly better control on the ground. Is that where you wanted to take the fight?
Yeah, I knew I'd have the advantage on the ground, so I thought, take it when I'm good. I thought I didn't get to show much of it, so I was just held in his guard up.
There's not a lot of guys in your division. Who is anyone that you think about fighting next?
Not too sure. I mean, who do you think?
Anyone they put in front of you.
Anyone.
Yeah, let's say great win, well done.
Cheers.
Ladies and gentlemen, your champion.
Finally,
James Firth.